When you had put down your camera, how long had you made your living as a photographer at that point?
I think I probably made my living as a photographer for like 8 years or 9 years, something like that. About 8 years, let's just say, as a photographer. So, and then I just put it down, and I kept telling myself, it's okay to walk away from things. Don't drag it out. Just, you had a phenomenal career that a lot of people won't be able to, they may not have access to certain people in a whole lifetime. It's okay. But I don't know. I just felt very uncertain about walking away from it entirely. So I walked away from it, but I was hoping that somebody will come along and say, you still have more in you. Thank God, that it turned around.
I like what you said earlier too about how it wasn't just the creativity part, your identity was tied up in what you did. I think that's such a big thing for so many people. Yeah. How did you explore that? Were you able to say, I'm okay not having to have a resume with all these A-list people that I've shot and these beautiful images? Or then it really, because I would imagine that's a huge part of anybody. If someone reached that level.
It was hard. It was hard because now I have to change the personal culture in my life. And, I realized I would do things like, oh, this is my friend Walid. I'm like, please don't. Please don't lead with that. I love politics and I love gardening and, normal things that, don't lead with that, because then that's all that people identify. So I created that, and now I'm trying to kill that too. So I haven't yet perfected the balance, because I'm not allowed to whine about it, but then use it to benefit me either. So that's where there's this internal battle, because I definitely use it to open doors, but then I'm allowed to use the good parts of it, but not let it seep into other parts of my life. So it just seems hypocritical. So I'm trying to find that balance, and I haven't yet.
I think that's tough in LA. I heard a violinist some years back give a talk after a performance, and then someone asked him, what are your plans for the new year? And he said, forming friendships that have nothing to do with mutual gain. It's all just about the friendship.
Yeah.
And he let it be. And I think the audience was like dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really...
Yeah.
And is that something, because it's just where someone I want to just know you for gardening, not the fact that you filmed Ricky Martin or something.
Yeah. I have a very, very, very tight circle. And I've become very good, almost to a fault, at filtering out people. And as a photographer, we stare a lot, and you start seeing things, because as a photographer, you're supposed to predict what people are going to do. Because if you've already seen it, then it's too late. You missed it, right? So a lot of times, if I'm watching and I'm like, that person's probably going to do this, and you're ready for it, right? And so I've become very good at watching people, and I've become very good at being a fly on the wall, and so I know, I can sense when somebody wants something from me, and I give them a remedial version of myself. I just dumb it down just so that there's nothing to pull them in. But with the exception of really people I can count in one hand, that's within the industry, the bulk of my community, they're teachers, they're school counselors, they're good, normal, everyday people. Yeah. But I have that I truly trust, and I'll call and I'll say, I'm having the hardest time, or in this industry, less than 5.
That's a nice amount, 5. So.
Yeah.
That's hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to LA.
That's good.
But I also hold the term friendship at a much higher level. So I hear people go, oh man, I love you, thank you. I'm like, you love me? You just met me, So when I say friend, Like, I truly mean that to the maximum extent of that definition. So that's when I say, I like in LA, in the industry, I have like, I can count them in one hand. It's people that I'm like, all right, you need a kidney? Fine. You know, I'll donate. You know.
What does success mean to you?
Success to me has changed, like the definition of it. Now it's about the impact that I'm going to leave behind and how I make people feel. You know, and I know that sounds like lip service, but it's truly, because I saw like now, I've had sometimes people say, oh, I love your work, just out in public. They don't know me. I mean, you're not going to recognize me anywhere, right? But if someone knows that I shoot a certain style or a certain type of clientele, they'll say, I like your work. That doesn't feel as good as when someone's like, hey, I follow your account. Dude, you've helped me so much. So that to me now is the new success.
Well, you had thought about being a teacher, or you were a teacher at one time?
So yeah, kind of. Okay, so I wanted to be a teacher only after I'm Middle Eastern. I'm from Afghanistan. I was born there. But I think all immigrant families, they're like, lawyer, teacher, doctor, scientist, you know, and that's about it, engineer. So I thought, what can I do that allows me to be creative, have some kind of control, but is looser too? So I thought, I'll be a teacher. And and how really the first chapter of my career started was I applied to be in the teaching credential program at Cal State Fullerton, and they have a very good teaching credential program, and they lost my application. And God bless that person. Oh my God, I hope that they're living a good life right now. I hope they're happy. Like, I pray for this person. I don't know who it was. They lost my application. I couldn't get in. And so I had more time to buy. And meanwhile, I've graduated with a history major, and I probably have enough units to have like 5 other minors because I kept changing my mind. Subconsciously, I was buying more time to figure out what I want to do with my life, you know, but I kept changing my mind. So I was communications, I was acting, I was business, I was marketing, I was history, I was many things. And then I kept buying time and kept buying time. But what had happened was they lost my application. So I had to tell my parents. No, I couldn't tell them. So I lied, and I got a job as a valet in Huntington Beach at this really nice hotel. I crashed a car that I didn't even know was an expensive car until I saw that car in Grand Theft Auto, the video game, and I was like, oh my God. Okay. And during all this time, my life it started getting really chaotic because I was lying to my parents about not being in my teaching credential program because they thought I got in, but they lost my applications. I had another 6 months or so to reapply. And in those 6 months, I had made a decision that I think I want to do something creative, but I had no idea what. And so before I was about to reapply, like a semester later, I had a big blowout fight with my parents. And I went like dramatic. I went on like a long drive, you know, like, and just had music and just playing, clear my thoughts. I came back home, and y'all gonna cut all this stuff out? Is it like
no? This is
okay.
Good.
I came back home and I was like, okay, so you can whine about this. Now what are you gonna do about it? And that's been my attitude, and I'm very thankful for that. So I decided to. Probably didn't even go on Google. I probably went on like Alta Vista or like Ask Jeeves or one of these like secondary, one of these secondary websites, and I looked up entertainment jobs. I found a job on entertainmentcareers.net, and it was Madonna's film company was looking for an intern to the assistant of the finance guy, and I wrote like, you know, they tell you like write like a 1-paragraph cover letter. I wrote a 3-pager. I'm like, and then, you know, it was like everything. And I sent that in. But I didn't just send it in like a normal person would. I took the email address, I remember her name was Jen, and copied it, and then I pasted it on the BCC line, and I sent it like 10 or 15 more, so I copied and pasted like 10 or 15 more times on the BCC line, so her whole inbox was Walid Azami. And then I wrote another email. I'm like, I'm so sorry, sometimes my email hiccups additional emails. Never mind, the apology letter was sent once, and everything else was like 15 times.
Sure. Uh-huh.
And she called me in and she's like, I just want to know who this person is because you wrote like a 3-page saga. And it was like everything. And they called me in and they hired me as an intern. Wow. That's a whole other long story. But